Welcome to Ball Talk Deep, where we talk deep about ball. You got your hosts Andrade and Irwin back at it again, and we got a fun topic to touch on with the playoffs in rotation. I don't know. Damn, I just worded that terribly, but you know what I mean.
First, it's playoff time. It's one of our favorite times of the year.
Exactly.
We've been going through a lot of stuff with
We've
Corona.
been waiting on this for what 3 months?
400,
4 months. Like it's 3 to 4 months since it was supposed to start.
It's been like 400 days since we last saw the playoffs.
And yeah, Erwin and I were going back and forth on the first round matchup. So we thought, oh, okay, this would be a fun segment to record. And yeah, I'll pass it off to you first, Erwin. What are the first round matchups you're most excited to see, and which ones would you recommend? If someone were to ask you, like, yo, bro, like, you know, a casual fan, like, what matchup should I check out? What are the ones you would recommend?
Well, FYI, I mean, just to do a disclaimer, the playoffs already started.
Mm-hmm. One day. We're on the second day, technically.
One day, second day. So by the time you guys see this, might be the third day, but all good. If you ask me on the top of my head, Irwin, Andrade, what are you looking forward to? The first one's going to come to mind is obviously Lakers and Blazers. Blazers have been super hot. Dame time, CJ, Nurkic coming back, King James, AD. That's going to be very interesting. And the Blazers are a legit threat, per se, to not only push the Lakers to a minimum 6 games, but if the Lakers are sleeping, they can go home early. I doubt that's going to happen,
yes,
but,
sir. Same, but
there's that right. Legit threat. The other one that comes to mind as well is assuming Westbrook comes back for Game 2. Is the Rockets and the Thunder. CP3 used to play for the Rockets. They almost made it to the finals. They just couldn't get past Golden State both times. Obviously, the Rockets very interesting with the small ball with Harden and Brody. You know, he used to play for the Thunder as well. That should be very interesting. It caught my eye. And the last one I do want to bring up is the Heat Pacers. Like, throughout the short history of, the Heat have been around for like the 20 years, the Pacers has always been a very big rival to the Heat. Mm-hmm. Going back to the time that in the Big Three era, with Stevenson, with
Paul
Danny
George.
Granger, Paul George.
Oh, Stevenson whistling in his whistling in his ear?
I don't know, whistling, blowing in his ear. I don't know. It's a funny ass meme even to this day. And now we got the Jimmy Butler and the T.J. Warren saga. It is unfortunate that it seems like Oladipo is injured again, but it should be an interesting series per se, as normally as it should be with the 4 and 5 series. But those are the ones that caught my eye. How about you, Andrade?
All right. I got about 4, maybe 5. Like, I think this year is actually a really, really good year for first round matchups. For some reason, like from the 1 through 8 seed, it's pretty competitive for the most part. It's like it doesn't just bottle out towards the bottom. You know what I mean?
And we had some surprises. I'm like, look, we saw today that the Magic won a game versus the Bucks, and I'm like thinking, oh, it's gonna be a 4-game sweep, gonna be a blowout. I'm like, the Magic, like, hold my beer.
No, facts. And I think part of the reason it's so competitive is regular season NBA, postseason NBA, completely different things.
It's Andrade's mantra.
For real. So it doesn't matter if you're a 7th seed or you're first seed, especially now in the bubble, but just in general, besides home court advantage, it's like if you know basketball or if you keep up with the league, you know what are the teams that really matter, and it's not just based off the rankings because of their regular season winning percentage.
That goes out the window.
The Rockets are a great example. They're number 4, but I think most people would have them in the top 3, maybe 2.
Not 2.
And like to win it all. So yes, I think that's a big factor into all of this. And okay, for my matches, all right, the most exciting one for me is probably Lakers and Blazers too, because I think this has the potential to possibly be one of the most historic first round matchups ever, because one, we're talking about a 1st seed and an 8th seed, and then 2, we're talking about 2 major stars going at it each other in LeBron James versus Damian Lillard.
Yep.
And we're seeing, in a lot of ways, they're completely different players, but in terms of leaders, they're very similar. That from everything we've heard about Dame and everything we know already about LeBron, it's like Dame encourages his teammates, he pushes them, and he actually inspires them. LeBron's been known for that. Yep, so I feel like LeBron sees a lot of himself in Dame in that sense, and LeBron has even made comments about like that this matchup is different, that the Blazers aren't just any 8th seed, that they shouldn't even be an 8th seed, and that Dame is a special like player, talent, etc. I'm like paraphrasing here, but so this, I'm actually really looking forward to this matchup. I still got the Lakers winning this matchup because, you know, it's still the Lakers, but
how many games do you see that series going?
Oh, see, I was gonna get into that. I think this series specifically, I wouldn't be surprised if the Blazers win the first game. I could see this going down as the 76ers versus Lakers finals, in the sense that, okay, the Blazers might win the first game and then the Lakers come and sweep the next 4. So that may be a factor, but in general, I think this series could go 6, maybe 7 games. But if it goes to 7 games, I think that would really hurt LeBron James because he's gonna get tired out for the second round. So, but I think it has potential because the Blazers have 2 of the top 25 players in Dame and Nurkic. Not even CJ,
Nurkic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, man.
And
he's top 25. Okay.
But then you got Davis and LeBron, which are top 5 players. So, and then you, like you said, at least they got a third in CJ McCollum. Lakers don't have a reliable third like that. You know what I mean? Could be Kuzma, but we're not gonna compare CJ to Kuzma or CJ to Dion or CJ to like who else you want to pick? Dwight.
Dude,
like,
I'm gonna disagree there, man. I'm like, look, come on, man. Nurkic is good, but he's not the number 2 guy. CJ's the number 2 guy.
Dude, I think you're sleeping on Nurkic. I think you're sleeping on Nurkic.
Okay. No, I'm not sleeping. I mean, I tell you this: Nurkic is a better, fit for their starting lineup than Whiteside was, obviously. But come on, man. I guess if you ask a casual fan,
he's one of the most talented big men in my opinion.
Okay,
we'll see.
No, he is talented.
I would still put CJ as the number 2, for scoring. That's for sure. Especially when he has a hot night.
Oh.
Like last year's playoffs, when Dame was off, that'd be nice where CJ just fucking came in and he was Superman.
No, we got the Melo effect too, man, in the clutch.
And we got Melo, who might be a little surprised. Like again, man, that matchup.
No, look, and Melo knows he's not getting any younger. This might be
his first round matchup, and
this might be his last chance to get a ring.
And that's another thing that adds to the historic factor. We're watching Melo versus LeBron, and that's been a while since we've seen that. And it could be the last time we see Melo versus LeBron in the playoffs. So, yeah. Another first round matchup that I'm pretty excited to see is Rockets versus Thunder. That because you already brought up CP3 and against his former team. And we're watching 2 good teams that are on the same level, kind of. I mean, they're the 4th and 5th seed. Rockets, I would still put significantly above the Thunder. But don't sleep on the Thunder. I mean, we've gotten a lot of criticism from Thunder fans. And after doing more research, they are a very solid team. Bunch of young guys though, so I don't rely on it too much. But what I'm excited for this one is Harden and Westbrook versus Chris Paul and Cole. And then Alexander might pop off. Like you
Shai,
don't know.
Steven Adams.
Yeah. So
they got Robinson coming back from injury. They can't sleep on that.
There you go.
Well, he came back already.
And then with Westbrook not being there for the first couple of games, might be a little more, might go deep in, but I still got the Rockets making that one. But I'm just excited to see CP3 against his former team. And CP always brings in that tenacity, that big game energy, and he's ready to off.
We'll see, man.
Some heads.
We'll see if the small ball, because like we were talking about earlier. Okay, look, small ball might have caught the regular season teams. You wouldn't be able to scout it as much.
Mm-hmm.
But the type of job that Billy Donovan has done this year to be in consideration. I think he was like coach of the year with Coach Budenholzer. Yeah. I think they're gonna be able to adjust. And look, the Thunder, they do have length. They have Gallinari, and they have Steven Adams.
Steven Adams.
Those, and you know, Steven Adams, that guy's a scrapper. You know, in the post and. Look, man, the Thunder. I mean, not the Thunder. The Rockets don't have any. They barely have anybody that's above 6'7". I'm like, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
you know. And,
no, it is.
But we'll see what happens, man. I can't sleep on the Thunder. Obviously, we slept on them when we did. You know, earlier on.
And everybody slept on them before going to the season. Look at where they're at now.
And look, these are the playoffs. If CP3 is healthy and he's healthy, he's gonna step up, and that's gonna be very tough to contain.
Yeah. And then the next matchup, this wasn't a matchup it was on near the top of my list, but now it jumped up. And that's because, like Erwin brought up, we're a day after the playoffs have started. And we got the Clippers versus Mavs. And this seems like it's going to be a competitive one.
Oh, we already
saw that.
And
I'm just excited to see Luka and Kristaps versus Paul George and Kawhi. And I think this playoffs in general, we're going to see a passing of the torch from the current generation of players to the next generation of players. And Luka is definitely the leader of that.
Coming out party for Luka on the playoffs at least.
So that's going to be exciting to see. And then for me, of course we got Indiana Pacers and Heat on the East, because TJ Warren versus Butler is going to be pretty exciting to see. And I think that matchup and rivalry is going to be nice to witness. I think that's going to be a competitive series. And I would also, lastly, I'll put Boston and 76ers. I mean, Embiid's basically out. But
Simmons is out.
I mean, Simmons, and then the 76ers are basically imploding before our eyes. This matchup would have been really exciting last year. This one, not so much. But I'll still give them a little edge. I think that one's going to be fun to see, Boston versus 76ers, because,
I think Embiid's going to show up.
They're both the East teams that we were expecting to see at the top two over the past few years. And now we're seeing them in the first round against each other. So it should be a competitive series. We don't know. Simmons is out.
I think we're gonna see Embiid shine. Like I say, like, you know, this is the Embiid that you know, it's like, I think we're gonna
hopefully. I don't want to see him crying at the end. But I still got Boston going through.
I feel you, but I think Embiid can make this. I think he's gonna step up. He's gonna make it a series.
Make it his series.
He's probably gonna be the best player in that. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he'll be the best player in that court. Obviously, that's not gonna do enough, because you're gonna need more than one guy.
Yeah.
But
the three matchups that I look forward to the most, or just in general, are all in the West. Yeah. Like, if you don't know, if you're a casual fan, you're looking, watch Lakers versus Blazers and Clippers versus Mavs. Those are probably my top two.
And Magic versus Bucks.
And then there's no star power in the Magic, but he's right. That is a competitive series. If you want one for the East, probably my favorite one is Pacers versus Heat, because they're pretty close, and then Butler and Warren have something to look out for.
A little bit of beef.
But those are our first round matchups to look out for. It is what it is. Ball Talk Deep, where we talk deep about ball. We're rushing in because the battery's about to die. Check us out on Insta and Twitter, etc. Let us know yours, favorite matchups. You got anything to say? Nah? All right.
Battery dead.
Take care,
Peace.
guys.